Guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in this episode, Elijah Taylor and Will Pryce rumours persist. Lebanon vs Malta took place in Australia for an international test for the Mediterranean test. And the Saints vs Leeds double header, and I bring you both games highlights. To say Will Pryce has taken Super League by storm since he burst onto the scene in 2021 is an understatement. As Huddersfield struggled last season, head coach Ian Watson put his faith in youth, and it paid off handsomely, with Pryce excelling, having been given a chance. Since then, Pryce has gone on from strength to strength, and with the exception of a 10-match ban for a dangerous throw, a big exception mind you, the live-wire playmaker has been one of the hottest prospects in World Rugby League. So much so that the teenager has attracted attention from a number of clubs, with NRL side Newcastle Knights amongst those chasing hard for Pryce. Pryce, however, has previously stated that he remains fully committed to Huddersfield until at least the end of his contract in 2023. In the statement with the Yorkshire Post on his future, I'm not sure yet about it. That's not something for me to worry about. I'm only young and I'm playing rugby, which is the main battle. The thing for me is to try and play regular first team rugby, something I'm still not doing yet. The focus for me at the moment is to make sure I'm playing my best rugby for Huddersfield and trying to win something with the boys. However, respected Australian journalist Brian Tuhey, who works for the Newcastle Herald, revealed on his podcast that Pryce has reportedly signed a 2-year deal with Knights for 2024, which makes him the second Englishman and Huddersfield man to make the move over to the other side of the world to join the Knights after Dominic Young did so a few years ago. It's obvious Pryce will excel in the NRL. With his maturing head on his shoulders through Huddersfield, though Huddersfield is still deemed of keeping hold of one of their exciting youngsters determinedly to come out of Super League in recent years. Newcastle, however, are trying to get Pryce for next season, according to Tuhey and his podcast, but it's all just conjecture at the moment, and he is still in the recovery part of getting back up to speed for Huddersfield as part of their squad after his suspension. Another player who's catching the eye of another club, as Wakefield Trinity are plotting a move for Salford Red Devils forward Elijah Taylor. Rugby League Live understands the West Yorkshire club are interested in the 32-year-old who is off contract at the end of the season. Reports are coming out of the AJ Bell Stadium that the talks between the Red Devils and the player have yet to commence, and as a result, Wakefield have their sights on the New Zealand international as a potential recruit ahead of the 2023 season. And it would set up a union between Taylor and head coach Willie Poaching. The Wakefield boss was part of the Kiwis coaching staff, while Taylor was one of the country's leading players. Taylor has played 11 times for New Zealand in the years between 2011 and 2017. His capture will be seen as a much needed addition for Wakefield, as many of the main stars have been linked with moves elsewhere. Jacob Miller has been heavily linked with Castleford Tigers, and Tom Johnson is understood to have signed for Catalan Dragons, and James Batchelor is rumoured to have signed for Hull KR. But Taylor brings much needed experience, having played 186 times in the NRL, featuring for the New Zealand Warriors, Penrith Panthers and West Tigers during a 10-season stint down under. He remains a regular for Salford this season and playing in all but one of their Super League games this season. He remains 11th at the moment, with the current competition's amount of tackles made this season, with him making 464 of them, averaging in excess of 33 per game. His tackle success rate currently stands at 93.9% for the season. As for Salford, they are believed to have a number of targets lined up and are actively pursuing a number of deals to bolster their squad in time for 2023. With all the International Rugby League over the 2 weekends, it was easy to forget that the Mediterranean test between Lebanon and Malta was going ahead in Australia on Wednesday. And it was a game that was happy for the Lebanon team and also featured possibly the hardest working man in rugby league, Jared Samet for Malta, as he travelled again to Australia to play in this game for his chosen nation. Good work by him. He's a testament to International Rugby League, and if he ever retires, because he just keeps on going and going and going, should be involved in International Rugby League decisions and the board. But Lebanon coach Michael Cheika will watched his first match in charge of Lebanon from Argentina after flight cancellations forced him to hand over the reins of Wednesday night's clash with Malta to his coaching team, Matt King, Jake Friend, Robbie Farah and Michael Habib. Cheika, the former Wallabies mentor, is preparing for Los Pumas for the July the 2nd Rugby Union International against Scotland, as he is currently the head coach of Wales Rugby Union, the Argentina Rugby Union at this time. And then he planned to return to the Argentina after the test at Belmore Sports Ground, but now he cannot fly out before kickoff. He said to NRL.com, "I was planning on being there and I had a flight booked for Thursday morning, which would have got me to Argentina on Thursday evening, but the flight got cancelled. I had to shift onto another flight, and the only one I could get was tomorrow, Thursday. Fortunately, we had got Matty King, Jake Friend and Robbie Farah there, so there'll be no shortage of a football IQ. Okay. I have known Kingy for ages through the Roosters, and he is a solid campaigner, so he is right on the money." King, the former Storm and Rabbitoh star, is Trent Robinson's longest serving assistant at the Sydney Roosters, where Cheika enjoyed his first taste of rugby league coaching in 2020 in a code switch that convinced him to take on the Seeders job. Also, Friend was the Roosters co-captain and has now joined the club's coaching staff as well after being forced to retire last season, while Farah and Habib are former Lebanon internationals, also now involved with coaching. And it was Lebanon's day, as the Seeders beat the Knights 30 points to 14 in a fiercely competitive game. Good preparation for both teams ahead of the World Cup for Lebanon, but also the European Championships for Malta. Lebanon had Christian Yasmin to thank for a try-scoring double, scoring on the 3rd and 39th minute, as well as centre Bilal Mabani, who scored on the 32nd and the 74th minute. A try apiece for Cassis and Risk were the final. Adam Risk, the halfback. No, it wasn't Adam. It was Jay Risk that scored the try for Joshua, the fullback, on the 27th minute. While Cassis scored on the Nick Cassis, that is, on the 46th minute. Bilal Marabani kicked 3 goals as well for Lebanon's full scoring. Pace and Bradford were the try scorers for Malta, while Samet kicked 3 goals, one of which being a penalty. So it's Thursday night, and there was a double header between Saints and Leeds Rhinos as the sides, men and women's sides, went against each other on a live television show. The women's game kicked off at 5:30 PM UK time, while the men's kicked off at around about 8:05 due to quite a few injuries in the women's game, I'm afraid. That was just a preview of what's going on. But in the women's game, the last meeting between the two preeminent sides in the competition is not only a rematch of the 2021 Grand Final, but also this year's Women's Challenge Cup Final, both of which saw Saints emerge victorious. Rhinos halfback Courtney Winfield Hill is excited by the prospect of taking on their rivals on the big stage for a regular season fixture, and is hoping fans from both clubs will get there early enough to support both teams. The newly capped international Winfield Hill is set to be one of 4 Leeds players in action who featured for England in last Saturday's 36-10 victory over France, which also formed part of a double header with their male counterparts in Warrington's St Howell Jones Stadium. Meanwhile, St Helens will likely have 7 of their team playing, and while prop Chantel Crowell is delighted with how much the women's game has grown to this point, she's in no doubt there is still progress to do. So, when Saints and Leeds met at Headingley in round 7 of the 2022 Super League season, it saw the visitors inflict. So we start off early in the first half, and it's Saints who get over, as it's Jodie Cunningham who dives over in the left corner for the opening try of the game. It's great work where the halfback puts Cunningham into the gap, but the same halfback does not convert, so Saints only lead by the 4. But then Saints go once more, and they keep the ball alive, and Zoe Harris dummies and goes for the line to score the second try of the game, which means that Saints are leading 8-0. After a slow, steady bit, no one gets the grips of the Saints number 6, and she just dives for the line with some desperate tackling at the end. And then came the Amy Hardcastle show, as she used her strength, pace and a good fend to get past the Leeds defenders to score just under the posts. The England international carrying on from last weekend, scoring twice for England and scoring for Saints on the home return. Harris took over kicking, and it was Leeds that came back to put the scoring at 14-4. It was after 22 minutes that Saints led 14-0. But then it was Earnshaw Cudjoe who went over from dummy half, going over the Saints fullback to score just right at the post, which Winfield Hill put over. Then Frank Gulthrop, the England centre, went over, and Rhinos are well back in it, as it's 14-10. The video referee confirmed that she went over for the try, and then it was Saints that scored the first points in the second half, as Tara Jones took advantage of some lack marking at dummy half. From dummy half, and they're going over for the next 4-pointer. Saints are now 18-14 up. Then on the last kick, a Winfield Hill kick is kicked on by Frank Gulthrop, who bamboozles Saints defenders to go over the line just right to the posts to make the scoreline 18-all. And it's the England debutant, Australian cricketer, who has the opportunity to convert just right to the post. And she is successful. And she is successful to put Leeds ahead for the first time in the game on the 78th minute, where the scores finish. Leeds Rhinos 20, St Helens 18. Now let's have a look at the men's side, as the Saints go against the Leeds Rhinos after their round 7 victory at Headingley saw them come out victors in the last time these two teams came around. That game was 26-0, as Leeds were in a massive slump, but since then have hired new coach Rowan Smith to steady the ship. They are the first game of a fantastic weekend of rugby league as we see the 9th place Warrington Wolves play Hull FC on Friday night, live on Sky Sports from the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Hull FC are still riding in 5th despite a loss last time out. Wigan Warriors face bottom side Toulouse as they look to take over Toulouse's French counterparts for at least the time being into 2nd place behind St Helens, while Toulouse are looking to close the gap. They're now 6 points gap between them and Wakefield Trinity, Salford Red Devils and Warrington Wolves above them. Speaking of Salford, they face Wakefield Trinity in a clash of the bottom 3 on Sunday as they are 3 PM kickoff, which is followed by at 3:15 by Hull KR's hosting Huddersfield Giants. The Giants are still on a good run of form and only fall 1 point behind Catalan and Wigan Warriors. And Castleford Tigers, with the newly acquired Alex Mellor in their squad, face Catalan's Dragons at Castleford. Or if I got that wrong, Castleford Tigers face Catalan's Dragons with the newly acquired Alex Mellor from Leeds in their squad. So here are the teams. First of all, we see Harry Newman has rejoined the starting lineup after recovering from injury, with Liam Sutcliffe dropping out of the 17 altogether. Richie Myler drops to the bench as we see Blake Austin and Aidan Caesar partner up at halfback in Caesar's return to the team. Cruz Lehman is back in the team after his excursion with the Combined Nations at acting halfback, with Mikkel Edeleski and Matt Pryor either side of him. James Bentley returns to the side, vowing to improve his disciplinary record, while Balding Thompson and James Donaldson complete the forward pack. The bench has Zane Tetavano, Sam Walters appears on the bench for the 2nd week running, and Jared O'Connor comes in for Brad Dwyer. For the Saints, we see 2 changes as Will Hapoate is not included in the squad and Jonathan Benison comes in for the aforementioned Hapoate. There is 1 change in the forwards as well, as James Bell drops out for Curtin Sirenen, who drops out of the 17 also. On the bench, it's a solid forward line with Joey Lutzik being the replacement hooker, Ignatius Parsi, Jake Wingfield and Dan Norman completing the lineups. And we start early in the first half, and it's Saints that get over in the first try, as former Leeds man Conrad Hurrell did what he did against Leeds last time out, scoring first in the first few minutes to open the scoring. There was a hint of a double movement, but the player had fell off Hurrell, so he could carry on and get the ball down once again, as he wasn't grounded or tackled, with the ball carrying arm being free. But a fantastic Matty Lee's pass put the rampaging Alex Walmsley over. Again, Saints pressure, almost a fumble, but getting around Blake Austin to score that, what a fantastic effort. Then it was Leeds' turn as Harry Newman got back on the scoring sheets in his first team call-up. After initially thinking that David Fusitu'a was out in the right wing, the young Leeds centre did much of the work and got over for the Leeds' first try. Then it was Hurrell once again who got over the try line after he rampaged through the Leeds defence to score to make it 20 points to 6. Leeds came again after a Blake Austin bomb. Tommy Makinson wasn't able to get at the ball, and the ball was worked left for Balding Thompson to go over, supporting the outside men. Ash Hanley's good tap back got Balding Thompson in the outside lane, who scored. Saints though came back, and Ignatius Passy went over for his first try of the game. This after a 35th minute try for Regan Grace, which was missed out. A second one missed out on the highlights. Then Joe Batchelor hit a line that was fantastic whilst Leeds were down to 12 men due to a sin binning of... Yeah. Anyway. Saints took advantage once again, as the sin binning for Baldine Thompson it was, saw that Dan Norman went over for the try on the 72nd minute. Saints were not done yet, but they were putting Leeds to the sword, as Alex Walmsley went over on the 78th minute. By this time, Zane Tetavano got sent off for a shoulder charge, and James Bentley was sin-binned for a second sin-binning of the night for Leeds Rhinos. As you can see, the ball is down there. And Tommy Makinson kicked over 5 conversions for the final score after the video referee confirmed the try. With Saints going top with a 42 points to 12 victory against an ill-disciplined yet again Leeds Rhinos. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any new updates and new videos that may be coming your way in the future. Tell me what your thoughts are on the two games in the doubleheader tonight. Do you think there were fair results, or do you think that Leeds were the fair result because Leeds were their own makers of their downfall? In the women's game, another fantastic game, war of attrition, and Leeds kept their composure and just kept going and won it in the end. Fantastic result. International Rugby League still has a heartbeat no matter what level it's at, with Lebanon and Malta getting a decent crowd at Belmore. Very loud, very vociferous. And also KO Sports broadcasting the game live via a streaming chat service. Very well done to them. And the news that Will Pryce may be going to Newcastle has been rumbling on for some time now, but not as much confirmation keeps coming. He's still committed until 2024, but that either means that he's staying or going. No in between. Not made up a decision. He just knows that 2024 is a timeline that he's got at Huddersfield at this point. And then the final bit of transfer news. What do you think? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think Wakefield needs someone a bit more quality? Or is that all that they can get at this time due to their lowly positions? And if Salford are not negotiating with him, is that because he's on too much money? Or they don't know how to get the best out of him? Or his best is behind him? Just don't know. You tell me in the comments below. It's just my opinion at this point. Thank you very much for watching yet again. I do hope that you continue enjoying the content. If you do, share this video worldwide. But in the meantime, please stay safe. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode.